What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the gameplay that I think we're going to specifically see from Gotham Knights at DC Fandome. So we're around 5 or so weeks away. I think it's about time. I mean, you guys can let me know if this is the right or wrong time, but I want to start covering, DC Fandome with Gotham Knights, with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, with the Batman, anything else that I come up with, anything else that you guys come up with, and specifically with Gotham Knights, obviously for this video and for the channel being obviously I do so much on it, I want to talk about kind of specifics, release dates, what we're going to see, stuff like that. So I want to start off with that one. Now, we've talked about it before. It's not hard, I don't think, right, to predict what makes the most sense. What makes the most sense to see from Gotham Knights at DC Fandome, and that is easily the other side of the equation. We saw Batgirl and Robin. Now it's time to see Nightwing and Red Hood. I struggle to imagine why they would choose anything but that. You know what I mean? I don't think we need a trailer. There is more trailers that we will get, right? But in terms of like priorities, I feel like this just makes the most sense. It's been over a year now, and obviously we've got nothing, but they've left us almost in the dark on accident. You know what I mean? I don't even think it's well, like you could say, is it their fault or not? I think some of it is their fault, some of it's not their fault, but I think the general idea was not to do, this length of time, but to generally do what they've done. I do think that was probably the overall plan. You start us off with half of them, and then very easily you do the other half, and you pretty much, I would say, do the exact same thing you did the first time. Now, an interesting thing, though, is I would say it makes the most sense, and it's even the easiest, to literally do a replica of the first, that 8-minute gameplay, replace. Now, I'm not saying that exact mission, right? What I do think is, like, you pick another side villain. Penguin makes a lot of sense. If you got, like, a Two-Face, that makes somebody. I don't want to say generic because I feel like that's kind of disrespectful to Penguin or Mr. Freeze even, right? But somebody like in Mr. Freeze's camp, and the opposite side of that, by the way, I'm going to explain in a second, but you pick somebody in that general area, and you do pretty much the same thing. A new area of Gotham, a new environmental issue. So if it's Penguin, you could have like the iceberg. You could like be inside, right? Because most, it's kind of half and half. But obviously, you start the beginning of the walkthrough, last year DC Fandome outside, right? So maybe you could do the same thing again. Maybe you could do where you're inside a location. If it's Two-Face, if it's Penguin, whoever, and you do the same general thing. You show off traversal with these characters. How do they move around? How do they fight? How are they different from each other? How do they communicate, right? What's that kind of dynamic? You do that. I don't see why you would show Batgirl again or Robin. Now, again, like, to be clear, for all of this stuff, when I say I don't know why you wouldn't show X or Y thing again, I think you do show pretty much all of this stuff again, just not here. You know what I mean? This is like a spotlight. This is a very specific, place, DC Fandome, to do this. You're going to get more trailers. You're going to see Batgirl again in gameplay. There's going to be, like, preview events, where people will be able to play as these characters. Like, it'll obviously, and they may play Mr. Freeze's stuff. They may play something else. But, like, that stuff absolutely will come back. So I would imagine that. I honestly, like with Penguin kind of appearing on, like, IMDb and that kind of being, like, the talk of the town the last couple of weeks, it's easy for me to just say, we'll just do Penguin. However, I would say that gets me thinking, right? Well, there is another option, okay? I still think you need to show Nightwing and Red Hood. I don't think there's any way around that. It would be incredibly stupid to not show those two. However, do you now start to inject some of the main story into what you're going to show? That could easily be done separate, exactly, honestly, how they did it last year. You have the story. I mean, it's like a reveal trailer. In fact, I think that's what it's called, right? But you may even be able to spin that to say, well, that's like the story trailer, which story trailer is like a common thing they do for games. You could do something like that again and be very focused on the Court of Owls. That's kind of what I'm trying to hint at. Even like Joker or some high-profile villain that doesn't kind of match what they did last year with Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? What I'm basically saying is they could go a route where you're playing a main story mission, and like the Court of Owls or like Talons or whatever, they're the main threat of the mission that they're showing. And then I guess the question is, do you, and you're going to do it eventually. That's going to happen. You're going to have missions you're going to show to the public, and we'll see where the Court of Owls have some sort of influence in it. but I don't know if you show, you know what I mean? I don't know if you do it right now. And again, because I think it could easily be done separate. You show a trailer, you can do the, and because like even the first trailer, I mean, it is kind of centered around the Court of Owls, so you could do another trailer and do the same thing, or show more villains. You could, I know I've pitched the idea of like a villain trailer, but you could just do a normal trailer and just have quick snippets of, like, you could show Penguin, you could show Mr. Freeze, you could show Joker, you could show like 3 to 5 maybe, right? And you don't have to give all your, you don't have to get, show all your hand, your entire hand. You can just show some of it. I think that makes sense too, right? So there's a lot of story beats ideas that they could just simply do separated from a gameplay. To me, it's going to be really interesting to see if they identically copy what they did last time. Do they literally do a 3-4 minute big trailer, kind of like a we're back thing, and then show 8 minutes gameplay, Nightwing, Red Hood, they're in a location, and it's Penguin, and they're doing a side quest from Penguin. Again, the thing that I've said, I do think there'll be a release date. We'll talk about release dates probably next week. That'll probably be the next video we do, right? I think you end it with that. So, but can you do that with gameplay? I think you can. I think it would actually be a little bit weird, but I honestly think you could easily end a gameplay segment, like a 6, 7, 8 minute thing, with showing what the release date of the game is. Or again, if you show a trailer before, it'll be interesting to see, what they do. Do you only do gameplay? Do you do gameplay in a trailer? Like for Suicide Squad, you obviously only did one. I honestly think for like a Suicide Squad, which we'll talk about that in its own video, you just show gameplay at this point. We don't, again, we will get more trailers, but I don't think we need one right now. So it's going to be really cool to see what they do, whether it's a carbon copy or it's not. It's still going to be exciting. I think that's kind of the best part is, is there room to disappoint people? Of course. Is there room to like open yourself up to like more questions, or even like me, I've pointed out countless concerns I have for the game. That's kind of just who I am, but I'm also obviously extremely excited for it. Is that going to happen? I'm sure it will, but it is hard in a way, I would say, to mess this up, because you could do pretty much the exact same thing you did last year, do it again, and I don't think many people at all are going to be like overwhelmingly disappointed at what they've done. I really don't think that would ever happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, let me know other kinds of videos you want for Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, any other, movies or games or, whatever. Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all of these videos go up. If you guys want to support me on Twitter or my second channel, we also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. The links for all of those are always in the description below, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all on the next video.